Well, good morning. Before we get into things, I just want to take a brief minute to say thank you so much for the love and support on our last video with our rather crazy announcement. You guys have always shown us so much love and support, and this time was no different at all. And just from the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
So if you missed last week's video, we did announce that we are selling this property and we are moving to Costa Rica.
We won't be going into all of the reasons. If you want to find out, if you missed that, you can go back and watch that video. But this will be our last video that we ever film here on this property. And then starting next week, we're gonna be back in Italy for a good long period of time before we can move finally to Costa Rica. So we just have a couple more projects to finish up before I'm comfortable selling and moving on from this project. But just to look around, especially in the last week, this entire property has really come to life just in the last few days, the last week here. The majority of the trees are now green. We've got a lush green forest behind me here. And really just to take a moment and reminisce about all of the progress that we've made. In fact, I'm standing right here where the old mobile home that was full of holes in the roof and rotting on the inside. Oh man, the smell really hits you right in the face. We can fix it.
No.
That has all been gone and taken out.
So when we first got here, there actually was no road even to get into the property. It was all grass. So we did put down this road, which was fun because it was the first time that we got to use some real heavy machinery. We both got to do it, which was so fun. Brady's definitely more skilled than I am at it, but I love learning new things, so it was great.
But as you know, the primary task was, of course, can't be that hard, right? Mulching everything down, clearing the land to be able to even see and access it and see the potential of what could be here.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
So this entire area from this point beyond was completely covered in overgrown invasive species, so much so that you couldn't walk through or see through the property. But that's where the heavy machinery came in, and mulching down all of this really opened up the entire property quickly to see its potential and expose the back half of the property, where ultimately we decided to clear out a building lot. So you can see right here, this is where the old mobile home was that was falling down, and then we built this road here that leads back to the back half of the property here. But all of this area, you couldn't see or walk through any of it. It was grass up to shoulder height or invasive species just covering the entire area. And then we've cut this little path that leads right back to the back section of the property here. So my vision for this property was to have a very long tree-lined driveway leaning back to the back section of the property. And that's where we ended up clearing out the building lot. And we ended up having my dad here to help with that, both for safety and for his expertise of taking down trees. And it was so fun, the two of us together using two separate excavators, working together to dig out the root base and to push over those trees as a safer way of clearing the lot, and to take all of the trees that we knocked down and to chop them up with the chainsaw and bring them back to the milling site, where eventually we worked together to mill up all of that lumber. And all of that wood that we milled up, that's all going to be given to our family members so that they have that lumber to use in future projects here. So I've said this before, but I certainly never expected the land clearing process to take this long. But when there's 18 acres, that's a lot of land to take care of. And this entire area was so overgrown with invasive species, as well as dozens and dozens of dead trees to clear out. We had to clear out the creek, as there's 4 different creeks that all converge into one, and they were all just stuffed full of dead trees and debris. I've gone and sunk right in pretty decent. And then of course, to clear out this building pad that we're now standing in, that was the most fun, having my dad here working together on clearing out this building pad. And boy, does this place look gorgeous. Heather just mentioned that it sounds like I'm trying to sell the property here. I'm not. It's actually under contract. We're very thankful that very quickly, because it's such a desirable piece of land, that it's gone under contract. We're simply just proud of the work that we've done over the last 3 or 4 months or whatever it's been. I know it's been weird bouncing back between Italy, but we're proud of the work that we've done, and we know that the path forward with moving to Costa Rica is the best for our family. And we just wanted to take a minute to kind of recap what we've accomplished here. And I don't know, I think it's important to celebrate the work that we've accomplished together. We've also been putting in a lot of work creating trails throughout the entire 18 acres. And well, for that, my brother-in-law dropped off his Polaris Ranger. And for the first time, we're gonna zip around and explore this entire property on the trails. It's nice of him to loan it to me.
I know.
But
this is fun. I've walked a lot of these trails, but to be be able to ride, I don't know, this is just a whole other level.
Well, the thing is that we got a lot of rain last night. Oh, so this
is... that's muddy. Woo! Oh.
It's slippery. I'm gonna have to wash this before I return it to him.
Yeah, right.
Now, see, this is what the property is all about. And man, there's probably, I'm estimating, 1 to 2 miles of trails that we've cut through this 18 acres because they all kind of weave in and out. And man, this section will be fun to get through here. Whatever this property is used for, whether, you know, ATV trail riding, horseback riding, morning runs, walks, like, it's so dense with these trees that even in the heat of the summer, it's so nice to just walk through these trails here. But honestly, I just enjoyed making the trails as much as I'm enjoying driving through them. Man, it is slippery, but it's making it a lot of fun. Oh man, I would have way too much fun if I owned one of these. I would
some donuts somewhere.
For sure. One of the things I was really looking forward to about living on this property is the trails, but that is something that Costa Rica excels at. Costa Rica has the best ATV trails ever, so that's going to be in our future for sure. So there actually is a trail that cuts from this huge clearing to another 2 or 3 acre section of the property that we realistically haven't been over there. Tomorrow I'm going to work on opening up one last road, one last connection, so that the entire property is accessible, because currently I've been back there once on foot and that's it. It's too thick to be able to get back there, and it needs a road. We've got a little bit of time left before we head back to Italy. I want to have more fun. So really quick, I want to take a very brief minute to thank today's video sponsor, Delete Me. Delete Me has been such a long-term partner of our channel. We're so grateful for their partnership, but we're also grateful for how they keep our personal information protected. If you've been receiving any of those annoying spam phone calls or phishing email attempts, it might be because your information has been leaked around the internet. And that's where Delete Me comes in, because Delete Me is a hands-free data removal service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data brokers and people's search sites, reducing the risk that your personal information ends up in the wrong hands. There are hundreds of data brokers out there that their sole job is to collect as much personal information about you and to sell off this information to the highest bidder, including advertisers or potential scammers. But when you sign up for Delete Me, within 7 business days, you'll get a privacy report that shows where all of your information is left public, and Delete Me will work on your behalf to have this information removed. Right now, if you also want to join Delete Me, you can get 20% off by going to joindeleteme.com/Voyagers, or by scanning the QR code on screen now, or simply by entering the coupon code Voyagers at checkout. But with that, thank you so much to Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. All right, so as expected, we quickly ran into the creek that runs through this area. So I'm gonna have to bring over the excavator, clear out all of these logs, because honestly, this whole area back here is really kind of dammed up, and honestly, it's clear that it's been flooding for quite a while back in this area. So we'll get this all cleaned up with a chainsaw and an excavator, knock down more of the brush leading into this 2 or 3 acre clearing behind me. And then we need to install a culvert, which I do have one left. We just need to cut it in half so we can get as much use out of it as possible, because I want to use half of the culvert elsewhere for another trail. All right. Well, I certainly didn't realize just how blocked up this entire creek was from all of the downed trees and logs and brush in this entire area. And you can tell it's been flooding probably on a yearly basis just from how the landscape has been carved surrounding the area. But this entire creek here, the water is no longer flowing as it should as a result of all of the downed trees and whatnot, because as soon as I pulled out quite a few of the logs, the river did start, or the creek rather, started flowing again. So I'm going to take a little bit of extra time, try to clean this out properly as I am getting ready to put in that culvert. I think as we are coming to the end of this project, I'm getting a little bit more bold in my willingness to push the limits of the machinery and to build a bridge as I'm crossing the creek here. And it's going pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with the depth that the culvert is placed, much better than my first go with placing a culvert. And then as I go across, I'm simply taking all of the extra dirt and clay from the opposite side of the creek and pulling it towards me as I'm kind of working my way uphill. I need to, pull back some of that grade and use it to raise up the bridge or the road that's crossing over here. But I will say I can see back into that clearing, that extra 2 or 3 acres that we haven't been able to use yet. And man, having this road pass through here, now it's only meant for ATVs or machinery. I'm not building it wide enough for a car. There's no reason to bring a car back there. I don't know why I would do that. But to be able to have access back to this extra acreage is pretty useful. All right, and with that, we finally have a brand new road, a brand new ATV trail heading off into this other clearing here. So it's finally time to bring the skid steer across with the mulcher and mulch up this clearing to be able to allow this area to be useful as well. So back there is the main section of the property, and this is the new ATV trail that leads off into this rather large clearing here. It actually connects to the main road just over there and connects to the back end of the property that direction, but that is too thick. It's just really kind of quite difficult to get through off that direction. They did at one point have a bridge connecting it to the rest of the property, but it's collapsed, and honestly it's a very steep area, and I don't think I want to make another bridge or another road off in that area at this time. All right, so now that I've made it across, I just want to use the deck mulcher just to knock down all of the brush, clean up all of the brambles here. This section turns into really thick brambles during the summertime. Clear the place out, because honestly, as I mentioned, I've only been able to come to this section once at all, period, because it was so difficult to get back to. Well, now there's quite easy access to. And of course, with all of this, there is the selfish reason that I do want to spend at least a couple of days zipping around in ATVs, enjoying all of these trails that I'm making. But with just a couple of hours, this is making a huge transformation on this property. All right, so I think I'm getting a little bit carried away. This is, after all, fun. I saw what looked to be maybe an old path, so I started cutting through here, and it turns out it is an old path. It leads back to, you know, just a little bit of a mini clearing right here in this area here. But then I think I see up ahead what used to be an old bridge. This path right here, obviously it's overgrown, but right through there you can see, maybe on the camera, I'm not sure, but an old bridge. I'm at least gonna cut a path right through here. It's quite obvious to me that this property was used for ATV trails a long time ago, and well, you know, I just wanna bring back some of that life. I've mentioned this before, but it's fascinating to me just how much the wildlife also appreciate the trails, because the following morning after I cut a trail, it is full of deer tracks. It's as if they're saying, thank you so much. We've been plowing through brush this entire time, and now we have a wide and cleared path. Well, I think that's gonna do it. This is gonna be, of course, our last video here ever, and we just really wanna thank you guys for supporting us along this journey. There are so many exciting things coming up soon. Next week, we'll be back in Italy, and we'll be starting some really exciting projects very soon there, with lots more details coming soon about that. But with that, thank you so much for supporting our family, and we'll see you in our next video.